girls, Carolyn and Jenison. We've been friends for over 9 years, and I can't remember what it was like before her in my life. I always wanted a sister, and I have one. When we were beginning the discussions about a marriage lawsuit in Iowa, several of the people we were consulting with, and it was Rich, it was at the Brown Bag Deli at your place, where they said, we need to have a national, statewide group that can run this message. And you need to have a strong advocate to do that. And you need to find somebody. And I knew the minute they said that who I was going to call. So the next day, I called Carolyn on her cell phone and say, hey, I got this gay thing to talk to you about. And she said, I'm on a beach in Hawaii. Can I call you back? It's like, yeah, but don't wait too long. And she came on right away. So as the executive director of One Iowa, Carolyn had many roles, but I think 3 stand out. One, she was to guide couples as they opened up their lives and told their stories to Iowans in their communities. Sometimes for many of them, it was the first time they were coming out. But they knew that when they were doing that, Carolyn was in the wings waiting to give them a hug when they got done. And so they knew it was going to be okay. The second thing, it was to speak out for all LGBT Iowans. She was our face, she was our voice. And the third thing was to lead a staff and a volunteer group on a hard and sometimes hurtful journey. And so what has Carolyn accomplished? In working with these couples and families, the lives of LGBT couples are known by many across the country and across the state. As a spokesperson, her words of love, commitment, and family have always overshadowed the voices of hate, fear, and ignorance. And as a leader, she mentored her staff and encouraged them to be leaders. And in my opinion, a true leader is one who helps others prepare to take the reins so the mission never falters. Carolyn has known our story on a personal level. She lost her partner to cancer, and before we could get married. And she lived with the hurt of not being able to call that partner her spouse. She has debated those who use what I consider flawed religious rhetoric to demonize our fight for equality, but she has never lost her faith. And that's one thing that I admire, that she carries a deep faith, which is kind of my personal issue with this fight, is that most people think that those of us who are gay or lesbian do not have a faith, but we have a strong faith.
Reflecting back on these past years, I recognize, and I think we all need to be reminded that it's never been about one person, but rather it takes many to move change. And remember, while the Barnum v. Green case had named just one plaintiff, it was about 6 couples and their children that represented thousands of Iowans. And yet, we never underestimate the power of one person. And it was our friend, Miss Sharon Malheiro, who had the insight, the dedication, and the faith in our state that led her to reach out to Camilla Taylor of Lambda Legal to start on this journey for full equality. It was then Sharon in our community to talk to leaders in our community about an organization that would dedicate itself to changing the hearts and minds of Iowans across the state. And our dream of that organization has unfolded over the past 5 years. So this dream, One Iowa, has now become the power of thousands, with over 40,000 members committed to leading the change to keep discrimination out of our Constitution and uphold the freedom to marry for loving, committed gay and lesbian couples. One Iowa's bringing the state together, united in the belief that we only succeed when we all have equal rights and protections and a level playing field in which to grow and flourish. So back to Troy and his comment, this is your moment. So I'm going to reflect back. So the easiest thing, the absolute easiest thing, and there wasn't very many, was building the team at One Iowa. I'm the most proud of the people that I worked with side by side. That has been the best part of this job. And I surrounded myself with the brightest, most fearless, and caring individuals. And you, my friends, are the hardest to leave. The biggest challenge I found when I started was the lack of name recognition or even identity of One Iowa. It was a fledgling organization, but not only in the LGBT community, but in Des Moines and statewide. So, no, we are not Iowa One. No, we are not one call to, can I dig here or not? So that was probably one of our biggest hurdles. And a few weeks ago, I was listening to the news, listening to Channel 8, and the anchor says, there was a bill brought up by the House, and instead of saying a gay rights group, they said it with great respect. They said, One Iowa opposes this bill. But, so that, my friends, is why I now feel it's okay to allow another to shepherd and guide Iowans through this next phase. This fledgling organization is now one of the most respected in the state, especially within political circles. Thank you, Tom Yoakum and Matt Skaya and the work of our field team. Now calls us for comments on stories. Thank you, political and communications team. And people recognize the dot as the emblem for equal rights in the state of Iowa. It's like, oh, there's a dot. It's good. And now in Des Moines and in Iowa City, Sweet Equality is the event to attend for the best sugar high. Thank you, Tom. And Jeremy. And lastly, special thanks to all of you. But understand, your love, your work, your stories, your support, it all determines the success of One Iowa. It always has. So without you, we can't do this work. So I'm grateful for the love and support from my friends, my parents, and my other half, better half, whatever, Angela. Thank you for taking this journey with me. To my parents, I want to thank you for bringing levity to my life when you want me to call WHO radio because they have mispronounced my last name. Thank you, Mom. Small part in this amazing history that's unfolding in the state of Iowa. And I will forever be grateful and proud of what we have and what we will continue to accomplish together. Thank you.